Hello, hello. Welcome back, everybody. What's going on? The Neil Quinto Experience podcast on the Podcast and Chill channel. And my main man is back, Adam Marsters. What's good, buddy?
What's going on, buddy? It's good to be back.
Not much. Yes, he fell in love, couldn't wait to come back, and here we are. Saturday and now Tuesday night.
I can do it every day.
Not a lot happening. I have a feeling like today, I think I mentioned this to you, is going to be sport heavy. And the big news today, of course, Gronk reneges on his not promise to stay retired, but he asked the Patriots to trade him. And he got traded to the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I didn't even see that. I seen once he was coming back. I said he's going to Tampa, and I didn't even know he was in Tampa by the trade, but I think I was
joking when I said that, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought you were joking because he's been saying he's going to come back, but for $10 million, I think New England. That's why New England only got a 4th round pick back. Plus, Gronk's not at the height of his game anymore.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I guess if he stayed there, it would have counted as $12 million. So they only had like $1 million left in room on the cap. So they really had no choice, and so a 4th round pick, but. The Patriots will turn that into 3, 6, or 7 round picks, and then get more gold out of the draft. I'm guessing.
Yeah, because they draft tackles and defensive ends and linebackers late, or you have to, and they draft what you need up front.
Yeah, I think they have the formula. They know which guys that they can, like the skill positions, they can just recycle them. Veterans that might fit in, that want to win, and buy into the culture and whatever. So, anyways, we'll see. I'm not that hopeful, and I really don't care. I think the Gronk move to the Bucs is totally irrelevant. So you're still worried about the top, huh?
Well, I feel like people can't see me. My lighting's terrible.
No worries. I actually cut my hair today, so I'm getting too comfortable cutting my hair. So
there we go.
Yeah, there you go. So we went from podcast to video. So now Adam's all Hollywood. So he is worried. I won the talk. I've got the lighting and I got the haircut.
I'm doing my maintenance on the air here.
He does it on the air. He does
make up.
Yeah,
it's true.
Anything lastly do you want to say on that? Like, frankly, it's not going to make a difference. I don't care.
I want to get into.
He's 43 and Gronk is broken. So by week 4, it'll all be done.
Oh yeah, if he gets injured again, just one big hit, I'll put him down for like his head. The marble is loose. Let's just say. So many concussions.
He's not in football shape. Okay, granted, he's got a couple months to get back into it, but it's not the same. And I imagine he'll return to some kind of form, but he'll demand attention from defenses, and he might get other players open. He could be a great decoy. I don't know if he has what he used to.
It's like getting Emmitt Smith in the last 2 years of his career.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are beat up, right? So
yeah.
It's not like you don't come out and have a year of retirement, smoke a bunch of weed, and then you're fine. Like, he might
What are you taking a shot at Marshawn Lynch?
No, he was actually partnered with someone to invest, or he was talking about the benefits of CBD oils and smoking pot and this and that. I don't know if you remember that, because he was talking about like how the realism of CTE and the calming effects and the therapeutic effects of medicinal marijuana.
Yeah, because I think with the concussions, that kind of gives you like a post-traumatic syndrome in a sense.
Sure.
Like, so it helps ease the, because when they have concussions like they do, it's pretty scary.
Oh, and they get concussions potentially during the week, definitely during the games. Like, they could have it dozens and dozens of times, in a season, maybe more, depending on your position, especially when he does some blocking on the line. They say, that's where most of the concussions happen, actually. You would think that it would be in like open field tackling, like where they have like the most jarring ones. But no, not unless the line that are constantly butting heads.
Oh yeah.
Did you watch the movie Concussion?
Yes, with Will Smith.
Yes, my favorite.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I liked it. It's it's based on true facts. So who doesn't like it?
Yeah, that was definitely a watchable movie. I didn't understand the personal parts though. Why add that in there? Because it's not like you made the guy more lovable, especially because Will Smith played him.
Because you had to make it 2 hours long, bud. That's about it.
Yeah, they had the budget to make it that long.
Yeah, so they had to get every penny out of it. No, I'm. Are you interested about how this draft is going to go down? It's going to be like one of the first ever non-live drafts where they're doing it from their own. And they like the clock. I think they added time to the clock for teams to make picks. So because they're not longer. They're doing it. They're not doing it like they're not all on the floor there. They're all at their own like locations at home, I guess. And
right. I know they talked about that being a disadvantage because some teams, they weren't set up for it and yada yada.
But they had time to prep for it.
Let's see here. Hold on. NFL draft. Yeah, that's this week.
Yeah, and you know what?
Yeah,
Vegas is chomping at the bit because they've got. I think betting's going to be open for it. Like who's getting drafted when's the first trade going to happen?
And did they traditionally do that?
No, well, not to the extent that they're going to, because this is the only sports betting thing that's happening.
Okay, gotcha. Oh yeah, that makes it interesting in that sense. Here's a mock draft. We'll get into. Let me just say this. Never had that much faith in the draft. Sometimes I find it interesting to know where guys go. Kyler Murray. I'm only interested in knowing like who the top names in college, where they're going. So when I found out, okay, Kyler Murray, Cardinals actually picked them, I'm like, okay, that's it, turn it off. And I'm like, this year, all I care about, I want to know if since he picks Joe Burrow, and I want to know where.
Yeah, they can call him Joe Bangle now.
Who?
You hear that? They call him Joe Bangle after the Tiger King.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, if he gets drafted by Cincinnati, people have said they should give him the nickname Joe Bangle.
There were a couple of outspoken Bengals. Carson Palmer, the main one, who was a Heisman winner. Anyways, he was highly touted. He had a good professional career, college career. Number one pick of the Bengals. He's like, don't go there if you have to.
Yeah.
Like pull a Eli Manning if you can.
Yeah, don't go down the road I did. Yeah, no, Neil, I know you'd rather pay for high-priced talent instead of going through the draft and building a team.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know if we've ever talked about that philosophy.
Yeah, you like that philosophy better. You would rather have proven talent and pay for it instead of taking the chance at getting lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, it saves you money. That's the only thing. And, to me, like 95% of these guys they're not stars. They might be role players. In fact, most of them, I think, don't even hang around. So
the only time
I hate about it is all the speculation. Like a guy like Mike Mayock has a career out of being probably 90% wrong.
It's true. The only time
you were the weatherman and you got it wrong 6 days out of 7 consistently for years. I don't think
you're still collecting a paycheck. You're doing something right.
And he's getting some kind of notoriety. So all this is crap. I can't stand it.
Well, the only time...
And that's it. That's all I care.
The only time a good draft, like a good scouting department drafting works is when you draft a certain set of players and then they start to do well, and then you buy the players, bring them in, and then you have draft picks to replenish the players because you still have to pay for talent to fill holes. Like say it's like the Blue Jays now. They've got 4 good young players. What did they have to go do? They had to go spend money on pitching. But they still have to have a youth system that's going to keep coming up to fill the odd spots. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? But you're still going to have to go pay for talent. Yeah. Now, if you just think that you can draft, 5 guys will be older than the other 5 guys, and then you'll be paying, you'll be all messed up, and that's how some teams operate. And do they ever win? Nope. Middle of the pack every time.
That's it. So, I mean, like, how can you make a case for that? You just said it, right? It's like...
No, it's true.
Did the Jays win? When's the last time the Jays won?
But they're set up. They're set up to see how this is going to work because they went and spent money on starting pitching. They brought the guy No, whatever.
It's not going to work.
You're laughing at me.
Yeah, because it hasn't worked. Like, well, it's just cringeworthy. Why don't we just analyze the best franchises? How about that? People want to talk about their favorite franchises or the ones that are crap and don't win. Like, why is that even like?
Yeah, well, if you talk about the Patriots, they drafted Gronkowski, they drafted Brady, but then, like I said, they brought in other players around them once they knew they had something there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the Jays are kind of doing. But that's a totally different sport.
Yeah, that's
the NFL. You have 56 men on your roster, or 54 eligible players.
Yeah, I think they're expanding that now. More practice roster, higher salary cap, more guys to dress. So yeah, it's in that dynamic is so hard because chemistry is such a huge part. You draft one spectacular guy. It's not like basketball. The one guy can carry your team. Baseball has the farm system. Like the NFL has no farm system.
Really. So you hear that Major League is cutting 160 minor league affiliates down to 140 for the upcoming season.
Yeah,
so basically,
like, are you worried? Like,
no, I'm not worried. They're doing it for financial reasons.
Cut it down to 20 because 140 of them are irrelevant. Like, this is my case for sports. I'm glad you're bringing this up. Is too many games.
Oh, I totally disagree.
Overrated talent. Like the draft rarely pans out. Like it's because it's the trophy culture. Everybody's good. Everybody gets a scholarship. We should have teams in every city, major and non. Like
it's true. It's true. The Raptors didn't really. How many draft picks were on their team when they won the championship last year?
I have no idea. That was a fluke. So
probably Pascal Siakam.
Yeah,
and maybe Norman Powell.
Mm-hmm.
And they bought the rest of them by either trade or signing.
That one I can't explain. That's why I hate it so much.
Oh, easy. Easy.
But no, go ahead. Let's just take a step back, then we can talk Raptors.
No, I'm done.
This is good conversation because we need to have it. I think everybody else just pats each other in the back or is like they're spending all their airtime talking about how good a prospect is, where I'm like,
well, the only good time a prospect works out, whether you draft him in the first round or the fifth or the seventh or whatever, is it helps you out with to financially go out and get bigger players. So if you fill your roster spot with 2 or 3 good draft picks, then you can actually spend money to go get a big name star or do this or do that. You know what I mean? Like, it opens up many more avenues. But if you keep drafting shit every year, like the Cleveland Browns, how many first top 5 picks have they had? Mm-hmm. Like, granted, they draft some talent, but they don't have the right organization. They don't have the right setup. They don't develop. Developing's another thing that you need. Like, there's so many keys, and it actually, people don't realize it. It's not just the coach, but it's scouts, management. If you can pay them decent money and do a good job, then that's why basically analytics have come into the whole thing. Because analytics,
oh right, yep, and they
save guys like Mike Mayock because that guy's supposed to be 100% right all the time, but he's never really that right. So analytics is to give you a better chance of being more accurate.
Do you think analytics should be more prevalent in football, and could it ever replace human analysis of talent?
No, not until, because you know what? Sometimes there's you can. It's like baseball. You can hear the sound off the bat. You can there's certain things you can see, and it's like hockey. You still have to talk to the people. Like, the guy could be a talent in the world, but he could be a cancer in the dressing room or in the locker room or whatever sport you're playing, right? So it's like, do you draft him on talent alone, or do you want to bring this guy in that's gonna take 5 other guys and make them worse because they don't like them?
Those are fair. I think those are fair because character is a big thing. There's franchises, that stick with character guys, and then there's franchises that give guys a second chance, or it feels like they're full of convicted.
Dallas Cowboys. What?
Well, the Patriots have had their share of guys who've been in hot water, and they they sign them, right?
Dallas seems to be a continuous thing,
Exactly.
continuously.
It's like part of the resume. It's a prerequisite of the.
Oh yeah, you got problems. We want to sign you.
5-yard per carry average and a DUI. Okay, no sweat. But here's the thing: like when a guy's like LeBron, or a Dwayne Wade, or I can't even think of Zion Williamson. Do you need analytics to judge the?
It's look at Greg Odom's a prime example. Supposed to be a number 1 pick. And he was the number 1 pick.
We're that high on him. I mean, he had the size, etc. But I think there's certain years. Listen, this is where I the draft talk loses me all the time. Is it's a bad draft, and these guys are paid to sell airtime and whatever, and so they're going to big up a Greg Oden because what are you going to do? Have a talk show that bashes him for weeks on end until the draft? So,
no, it's just it doesn't take a genius to see that LeBron James should be number 1 pick.
That's
what you're getting at.
The argument here is I think it's easier in basketball than it is in any other sport because the fluidity, the fewer number of players. You're right. You're right. LeBron can play multiple positions. In football, the brush you're painted with is that's it. If you're a kid, you get scouted as a running back or a wide receiver.
And how often do you see a field position player in baseball turn into a pitcher, or a pitcher turn into a outfielder? The last guy that did that was Rick Ankiel. He was a pitcher and then went to be an outfielder.
And to do it really, really well, though. I mean, positions change in baseball, but to do it really well. No, fair enough. You know what, it's hard because you always get in the conversation comparing sport to sport, but I would never compare the NFL draft to the NBA draft.
No.
And the other thing is the same thing with the NFL combine. There's guys that will do really well athletically. But I think those are set up to see if a guy runs a 4.240 and they're make something out of this guy.
See, with pro days and everything like that, and individual scoutings, where they go to the teams and they go to their stadiums and they have pro days and stuff like that. I find that the combine was the NFL combine was just more of a money grab for TV and stuff like that because you've had pro days and all this other stuff. And it was if anyone who took the draft serious, they were already checking these guys out. They were going to the games. They were doing their research anyway. So now they have this thing on TV to say, oh, these are the new draft picks coming to the NFL. Look at them run. Look at them jump. They already know what they can do. They've seen the game tape. I just think that's a money grab to me. It's even now the NHL has a combine. And then everybody's following suit, right?
Well, you have to give the NFL credit for being a year-round entertainment, not fully yet, but the way they strategically, they even changed the timeframes of free agency of the draft. They don't want to conflict with the NBA finals. They don't want to conflict with the opening of baseball. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what they said. When NBA and NHL and MLB are all playing at once, they're going to have to pick 2 nights a week for this, 2 nights a 3 nights a week.
Oh,
baseball
potential return. You mean, right?
Yeah.
If they all come back at the same time.
And where are they going to play now? Because they want to play.
It's interesting that you said that they would headquarter Phoenix or Las Vegas, more greater isolation.
Texas too.
Vegas is shut down, so it would be it's perfect setup for it, venue wise, etc. But can you if you have a tournament, let's say for instance in hockey. NHL comes back and they do a tournament. What's the fairest way to do that? And is there an asterisk on that year? Can you say these guys are the champs, or they just were well prepared and got hot during the tournament? Because one can argue it's more fair if you did that because everybody's got a shot. Everyone's been off, but I don't know if it's going to make for a good tournament.
Yeah, it depends.
And will that championship be tarnished? Because you said it, they played 3/4 of the year.
It's even with soccer.
The league deserve a champion because they invested that much, or can we just cancel it? Because there's been canceled seasons in sports.
There's shortened seasons too. And the last time there was a canceled season, I think it was the World War II, wasn't it?
Let me check that.
I think it was 1918 or 1919, right after the Spanish flu.
But I'm thinking, actually, I'm trying to remember when they had a canceled season due to strike, though.
I think it was 2001, 2003, 2004. Or 2004, 2005 was the strike season. That was for the NHL.
There we go, World War I. World War I is among the times entire sports leagues were canceled before. Here we go, just pretty timely. Sports often escape. NHL, NBA usually crown champion in June. Well, the Olympics are going to be rescheduled till next year, right?
Yeah.
That would be a major loss of funding. Do they have it here? God. World War I, yeah. World War II, NFL cancellation, D-Day, MLB, 1944. Strike, MLB 1981.
Yeah.
Having the time over free agency and event to star player. Okay. Games were canceled from June 2nd to August. Oh, that was like the middle of the year. The schedule's uneven. Yeah. Okay. NFL 1982. Oh, that's when they had the replacement players.
Yeah. Keanu Reeves. Falco.
There's a little 24 days. NHL in 1992.
Yep.
Shortened season. I know actually there was a shortened NBA season. I was reading about it because it was
that MLB?
Mm-hmm.
95?
NBA lockout 98-99 that they had a shortened season. 9/11, NHL 04-05.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So I see these ones were shortened, but they weren't completely.
COVID-19 is up there already.
There it is. So I don't know if it's that devastating right now.
That's true.
I don't care and I don't miss it. I'm so lost my attention span and interest in sports for the last.
Yeah, same with me. It's because I
don't miss it that much.
No, either do I. It's tough. It's just sad. Well,
what is it for you though? And then I'll say why.
Like what, for sports for me?
Yeah, why?
Or why I'm just not interested anymore because a lot of the stuff's changing and like rules and I don't know. It's just
like the pure love of the game to me, it seems gone.
Yeah, it's more about money, and I don't know. I don't mind watching the playoffs. The regular season to me doesn't really they don't play like it means anything to them until like the last 2 months of the season, and then they could be out of it.
Yeah.
Like, do you think they show up day one wanting to win? I get, maybe 15-20% of the players on the team do. What does that do?
Right.
I don't know. It's just it's not like I actually find myself watching the Olympics more, as you say it, because it's for the love of the game.
Special.
They're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're out there to do it for, they worked so hard all their life. And, in the NHL and in NBA and NFL, you do get that. But sometimes I feel like it's watered down is probably the best way to say.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I think a lot of sports fans around our age, maybe especially older, have seen that because they were exposed to an era where you had, like, what I call it, the gangsters. Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. In football, like your Jerry Rice, your Walter Paytons, like the guys that physically drained every ounce of their energy, every play, every game. Like, and it's easy to say that now because there are certain myths, stats, things like that are enhanced. It's like the further you get away from it, it was like, wow, they had a perfect season, didn't they? No, they were 72-10. Like it was like Michael Jordan never lost in the playoffs. Well, but he got swept by the Pistons for 3-4 years in a row. So it's like, the ghost.
Yeah, nobody talks about
and you
that.
only remember like the great stuff about, which is why I thoroughly enjoyed last Sunday night, ESPN.
I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, can I give a little breakdown of it? I'm not going to give it away. Anyway, it's on Netflix now.
I haven't watched it yet, but I heard that episode 2 is really good if you want to know what happened to Scottie Pippen.
Yes, right. So there's two episodes being released over 5 weeks. The first two basically are, number one is introduction into the fact that Jerry Krause, the GM, he used to be of the White Sox or the Cubs. When Jerry Reinsdorf took ownership of the Bulls, he was approached by Jerry Krause to come in and be their manager. And it's similar like situation to like Cleveland Browns. It was Paul Podesta, who had fame in baseball. He's like, okay, I'm going to come in and, I can use my baseball strategy and use it on a basketball team. And he was, I guess, highly recommended, but they said that he alienated people. And that seems to be the theme of this because he set the stage for that last year. He had a falling out with Pippen. He had a falling out with Phil Jackson. And when they announced Phil Jackson was coming back, he said, this is going to be their last year. So hence Phil Jackson titled the season The Last Dance. It was the theme of their season.
Okay, so that's why they call it that.
Yeah, it was by Phil Jackson.
I'll watch it and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, let me watch it and then we'll talk about it on another one.
Okay, but I guess what I wanted to say is most of part one is about MJ and then the second one is about Pippen. 2 points I want to make. Because we're so far removed from the last time Jordan played, which is, I think it was 2000.
Baseball or basketball?
15 years collectively, with a couple, 2 retirements. And you just forget what, just the aura and the hold that he had internationally, the star power is just like was unprecedented. And today I think is unmatched because now I believe like a Nike will not anoint a single guy. They could have easily done that with LeBron, right? Easily. But LeBron does not have the sneaker power or branding that Jordan ever had. Because I think like they learned from Tiger Woods, major sponsorship. He's our guy. He's the only guy. Other guys obviously had Nike golf equipment, but then he had his blow up and they were like, well, this guy just cost us billions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. So it's like we can't have all our eggs in one basket. So now Durant gets a push, Kyrie has his shoe, James Harden has this, like, you know what I mean? Like they don't like, because can you imagine? Oh, even Michael. Frankly, I don't know. Maybe they covered it up. But when he was when he attempted baseball, there's a documentary saying that he was actually suspended because he was gambling during the season. I don't know if you ever saw that. It's in the.
He had a bit of a problem.
30 for 30, I believe.
Yeah.
But you forget how like captivating he was. Obviously, you know it now. It's numbed. It's like Coca-Cola's everywhere, but you're not like enamored with it when you see a Coca-Cola commercial. Like it's just there. It's just omnipresent. It's everywhere all the time. Jordan, you wear his shoes or you see his symbols and clothing everywhere, but you're not like, oh yeah, Jordan's got a game this week, like because it's not in the present. So you forget that when you watch this, you revisit and you see. But
I still don't.
Without the internet, especially like.
But I still don't. Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
Listen, the reason you forget about Jerry Krause, because I forgot about all that. He disbanded this whole thing, but it was in a time of newspapers and limited news coverage. So yeah,
not social media.
Now it would be like,
and when you say like when you say Jordan, like it's numbing and stuff, but I still don't think LeBron, like NBA, like talent alone, you can argue back and forth, but like persona and remembering and knowing, everyone knows what Nikes are, Air Jordans, like, you know what I mean? Like he put that on the map. Like he was like a trailblazer in a sense for breaking out sponsorship deals and big time money. Like he was probably one of the first ones to actually, he's probably the reason why Tiger Woods got so much money.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He was the blueprint.
Yeah.
Yep.
because he had his own iconic logo, his own shoe. Like, it was a big deal. And like LeBron James, like he like that stuff, like all the sponsorships and stuff like that. It's just like he never had what Michael had, but one contract of his would probably make more money than Michael ever did.
Yeah, because the time is different.
Yeah,
and obviously the exposure. So that's what leads me to the next point, which is part 2 focuses next on Scottie Pippen. And what the major takeaway from that is he was, there was a lot of animosity between him and GM Jerry Krause because they somehow got him into an extended contract in 1991. So he was basically in a almost 8-year contract at $18 million. He was second in all stats across the board on the team, but he was the 6th highest paid on the team. 122 in the league.
I gotta watch it. Because that's
there's no question you have to watch this. I mean, like it'll bring back memories, but it definitely delves into like the back story.
Yeah, memories of him beating my Utah Jazz.
You're a Jazz fan. Oh, jeez.
The postman and Johnny Stockton.
Yeah, and Stockton. Yeah, and I have no idea why, but Russell, who Jordan took the shot of it, the shot in the flu game. Over, I forgot his name. I don't know why he was touted to be like the Jordan stopper.
It's just like Popeye Jones. He was once a Jordan stopper, I guess.
But there was, so when I say like the gangsters of sport and you'll never see them again, Roy Williams, who ended up coaching North Carolina Tar Heels, was an assistant coach when Michael was there. And 2 things that came out of it. Michael told him very early when he arrived in North Carolina, he's like, I want to be the best that ever played here. And Roy Williams, you can't work the way you did in high school. You're going to have to work harder. And MJ's like, but I am working hard. And he's like, oh, excuse me. I thought you said you wanted to be the best. And he goes, don't worry. You'll never see anybody work as hard as me, ever. And
wow.
Just the way he described it was like, okay. And then the way they put like a still shot of MJ, you're like, okay,
that's gangster.
He was serious right off the bat. And it was his upbringing, which is amazing. So I don't want to spoil that. And then the next one was, going back to the gangster talk again, which is guys never turning it off. Like regular season is not like tune up for the playoffs. Like he literally took it personal if they lost, right? You could tell, like it's his whole body, his demeanor, the way he looked at guy when he had that death stare, right? And, they were talking about Scotty had to sit out at the beginning of the season. He delayed an injury surgery because basically he was covering up that he was what do they call it? Holding out, because players didn't do it that back then, not
that openly,
not the way they did today. Yeah, they do today. But Roy Williams, again, he's like, if I don't know anybody that could turn it on or off when they played, but he's like, Michael had that and he never turned it off. And like the way he said it and the way, like just again, the alignment of the clips, you're like, it's so true.
It is.
Watch guys now and you just get so frustrated and you're like, you're so God gifted, talented, and you could do even just a fraction. But it's not endearing to me. So when guys don't do it, I'm like, I'm off. I can't watch it anymore, and that's it.
No, and I make an argument that I think Kobe Bryant had that more than LeBron did. Yeah. Kobe never turned it off. But LeBron was way more talented than probably Jordan and Kobe.
Yeah.
But he turns it off sometimes because he's too...
I don't even know if he turns it on anymore.
That's how good he was. Because, you know what, like, he could carry a team, but, like, in all honesty, like, if he took one night off, like, you know when they'd go to 7 games and lose when he was with the Cavs early in his career?
Yeah.
Load management is one, but the other thing is if he turns it off for one night, they lose. But you can't put all your eggs in one basket for the last game. You got to come out and play the four hard games right off the hop.
That's what, like, I can't get over, and I think that's what this love affair with MJ is like, he did it so often, maybe not all the time, but he did it so often that now that it's way beyond in your memory, you can't ever think of a time that he never turned it off. Like that's why it's kind of warranted that he never lost in the finals. Like I think now the further we get away from that and you see guys losing, it makes it more important when it comes to of the greatest and so on. So you'll really enjoy it. And I can tell you guys this from what I saw. Episode number 3 is going to be about Dennis Rodman. So expect craziness.
Oh, yeah.
That's beautiful.
Do they show the picture with the wedding dress?
I'm sure they will. That's iconic. You can't not cover that. But no, that was thoroughly enjoyable, and I can't wait to see it. And even Netflix is just rolling out 2 episodes at a time. So
no, it's pretty neat. I want to watch them, so I'll probably do that tonight.
It's interesting to know that Klay Thompson's uncle is the one who filmed. He was the head of the cinematography, I believe, on this, and they used 16mm filming material or whatever. I'm not a savvy in that whatsoever, but they did that intentionally because they knew in the future when you released it that they could do it in such great quality. Because
no way,
like the HD, because look, the pictures from 10 years ago are grainy. When you watch this, you'll be like, wow, okay, NBA had like top-notch stuff.
How's Steve Kerr in all this?
He has a big role in it, actually, in the talking, and I think that has, frankly, I think it has more to do with who he became after. But because he's relevant, obviously, today. But yeah, they chat with him quite a bit. John Paxson, because he's the GM, he has some kind of front office role with the Bulls. Has for a while, actually. Yeah. Pippen's story is super interesting.
Yeah, because he's a guy who never got much of the limelight because he was the shadow. But like that goes to the other question. Like, I don't care if LeBron ever wins more championships than Jordan. Pippen was no Chris Bosh. Pippen was no Dwayne Wade. You know what I mean? Like, LeBron got a few championships on the easy scale because he had a super team. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, Jordan, like, don't get me wrong, Pippen was good. Rodman was decent. But it's not like it's not like the big three, because the other NBA teams had really good players too. Yeah, it's just like Karl Malone and John Stockton. That's Pippen and Jordan.
Not the same degree.
No, not the same degree.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Well,
but also
MJ says it too, though, in his seg. When they introduce Pippen, he's like, you have to say his name and give credit in all of this, because like without Scottie Pippen, there's no 6 championships, there's no MJ. Right, so
no, it's true. Scottie Pippen was good, but it's just like who's after that? Dennis Rodman?
Yeah, Charles Oakley. Fair enough. You can argue, you can pit players today against back then. I don't think there's ever any way to answer it, because there's a lot of conversation about this documentary being released, and Shaq was saying, his Lakers that three-peated would have beat the Bulls that three-peated. Right? They both had Phil Jackson as coaches. That's the funny thing. That's the commonality.
I don't see. That would be a good test, but then again, I can't see it. Yeah. How do you do? That's Shaq and Kobe. But is this Shaq and Kobe get along, or is this Shaq and Kobe hate each other?
That's it, right? So many, and that's something they talk about. Every dynasty, it seems like they're their own demise.
Yeah,
I mean, they put themselves down, because Kobe and Shaq, regrettably, like they've said on occasion, like, if we just kept it together, we would have won 8 championships.
Oh yeah, if they wouldn't,
someone's ego gets in the way.
Exactly. Well, look at Brady and Belichick.
That's
the same thing.
The funny thing is, people have been tweeting. They're like, especially since Gronk is going over, they're like, they should do a film 20 years from now covering, what happened between those guys.
Oh, what, all the cheating and stuff? They can put it right next to the Trump documentary.
they should have a discussion as to why the Patriots never could keep it together. Was it Brady and Belichick? Was it Kraft and Belichick butting head? You know what I mean? Like,
there's a lot of egos in that room.
Yeah, because this one about the Bulls is clearly Jerry Krause was not getting credit the way Phil and Michael were getting it. And he's the GM, and he's like, but dude, you got Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, relax. It's not.
Well, look at it's true.
You can find whoever you want.
Look at Belichick. He had Jacob Brisky there, who's the quarterback for the Colts after Andrew Luck went down. Jacoby Brisky. Yeah. And then Garoppolo, they traded for like a second or third round pick.
Yeah.
Because Kraft was like, no, we're signing Brady to a 2-year deal. He's like, well, he just traded away all the quarterbacks. So it was like, yeah, we're going with Brady, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was like they said he did that out of sour notes to Kraft.
Yeah, right.
I think we covered that 2 years ago.
Yeah. Well, it's still coming to fruition, right? Like, we'll see.
I think Garoppolo was probably one of the best quarterbacks in the league last year.
Right. I mean, he took he helped propel the Niners into a Super Bowl, one they haven't been in, decades.
That's true.
So give me a quick prediction then. Who does better next year, the Patriots and Belichick, or Brady and the Bucks?
Oh man, I honestly don't think Belichick will, because the Bills are so good, and I think that Tampa Bay and go Bills go.
Bills Mafia.
Yeah, that's part. I am a true member. Hopefully, if they'll have me back, they'll open the border. But Tampa Bay, I say Tampa Bay. I don't think Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay might make a playoff spot, but I can't see them being 12-1. Like, Vegas is giving them crazy odds to win.
Yeah, I was joking.
Like, they're like, it's like, to me, it's like one hit from Gronk and Brady, you're back to the original shitty team you had.
That's right. I was saying to you today, wait till the infographic comes out with the updated Super Bowl odds, and you'll see like the top 3 now.
Yeah, and Buffalo will be like 20th or something again.
But that's what I mean, like sport in general, and especially reporting and news. It's like everybody's jumping to be the first to call it, and that's all they care about. There's no substance. It's just Joe Burrow isn't going number 1. He's throwing 25 touchdowns first year. Like, just outrageous stuff. Like, Tua's going to be great.
You mean Joe Bangle?
Joe Bangle. Yeah. Joe Tiger King.
Yeah.
Brady is going to, he won't last 4 weeks, or he's going to get the MVP and they're going to win the Super Bowl. Like, people just want to be the first now just to say crap. And it's like, eventually after you watch multiple sources and they're all doing the same thing, that's where I just got tired about.
I don't blame you. Now, if the NBA comes back, who do you think wins the NBA championship?
I think the Lakers were there to win, and so the narrative all year was like, can they get past the Clippers? And I'm like, of course they can. Like, I think they were just making it a narrative that the Clippers can contest or actually win the West, because it would be boring if you just rooted for LeBron the whole way. That we've watched that for a decade between Miami and Cleveland, and it's like, and especially because there's a hatred to the Lakers, especially because he just, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a natural thing. Stars just go there, and they're looking for the fringe benefits. They don't just want to win, but they want Hollywood, they want movies, they want acting, they want the endorsements, whatever comes with going to Hollywood. So I think
gangster.
Not really.
Lifestyle.
LeBron's not a gangster.
No, I know. Now, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the COVID break from sports, when they resume everything, who do you think benefits more, Kawhi Leonard or LeBron James for their team?
Oh, because of the time off?
The break,
Wow.
So, who do you think comes back fresher? Because they're both players that need it.
Kawhi has always dealt with injuries, or has been probably since San Antonio. I think it's fair to say he's actually injury prone. His knee injury or whatever it is probably worse than everybody leads everyone, the fans to believe. LeBron is renowned for spending like $1 million a year for his routine, like through health and dieting and so on. So rest will help Kawhi more. They both need to play, and I don't think there's any benefit to sitting out.
It's a tough question.
It might help Kawhi, but I fully expect LeBron to outplay anyway. Like especially on a comeback year where he had the sports hernia or whatever he had last year.
I think it helps the Lakers in general because Davis is another guy that's injury prone and taking the time off might help him, which LeBron needs him because if he goes down, LeBron's back to being a guy trying to carry 4 bench players.
The lone guy again, yeah, which is like a pathetic finals when Kyrie got hurt in the first or second game against remember how bad that was?
So you thought that was worse than the Raptors beating the beat-up Golden State Warriors?
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, the Raptors winning is still good basketball. Okay, I'm not. They played really well, but that's what actually irks me is because it was unexpected for me. Because for years the league was built on superstardom, and they were making it like on opportunity. It was really opportunistic. Like all injuries that they had. Like obviously it's not fair, but fair doesn't. It's not a factor. It's who stepped up, and I can't discredit Van Fleet for not missing shots, and the Raptors playing so well, like they're defensively. So absolutely, I give them credit for what they did, but it just it bothers me that it wasn't a super team.
But because you are all about the super teams. I know.
Yeah, I am. But what fans aren't? Frankly, do you really for teams that don't have? Well, yeah, you like the Bills
and the Leafs.
Like
I'm a sucker for punishment.
When there's a really bad finals, like Orlando Magic versus LA Lakers, when it should have been Cleveland Cavaliers versus LA Lakers. Like, do you think that NBA Finals ratings suffered? Of course they did. Who wants to see Dwight Howard and Jameer Nelson versus Kobe Bryant?
Well, until the super teams start playing better.
Right? Like, well, and whatever it is that happened, I can't remember why the Cavs lost that year and so on. But, shitty finals, like no non-star power finals, they don't do well. Playoffs.
It's true.
You want to see the best on the biggest stage. Like, do you want to see team guide?
Yeah. Well, hey, it worked for the Raptors.
Again, I give them credit. I didn't love it. That's all.
I know.
Like
I keep bringing it up.
The only person in Ontario that didn't care that the Raptors won.
Yeah, you probably were.
I have a bitterness, and I'll give you the background to that. Is I rooted hugely for when Vince Carter was there, and especially the playoffs when they played Allen Iverson and the 76ers. You remember when he went to his graduation and all this? I didn't care about that. He played so well, and I really rooted for those teams. And then they got rid of Butch Carter. They had Lenny Wilkins at that time, but they started to disband. Tracy McGrady moved on, and I'm like, what a dumb franchise. Like,
they had 2 of the best players in the league at the time.
I know, you're so close.
Spend the money.
They had more talent.
That's Glenn Grunwald
that won last year.
That's where I think Glenn Grunwald was the worst GM they had.
Was it him at that time?
I think so.
Or was it Colangelo? Anyway, what does it matter?
Yeah.
But the fact that they had that fell apart kind of at the peak, I'm like, it's like they went to rebuilding the year after they got as close as they could. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And I'm like, I refuse to believe any Canadian team could win an NBA championship. It's just, but they did
unthinkable.
And thanks to San Antonio for gifting Toronto Kawhi.
Yeah, well, that was my whole point. Like when they drafted DeRozan, traded him for Kawhi. That's like your whole theory on the draft. You don't buy into it as much. That's not where you'd put all your eggs. You buy into finding proven talent and giving them what they need to win.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I need some flexibility on that. Again, we did try to say that the NFL draft and the NBA draft are not the same. My statements were concerning NFL. If we're talking about NBA, like I said, it's a lot of talent is found in grade school, high school, and the impact of one guy is so much more on a basketball team than it is on a football team. So,
Well, there's another
I
thing.
can't compare the two. I would not, my blanket statements about NFL drafting, I would not apply to NBA drafting.
That's true.
So, yeah.
NFL, you draft to fill holes.
Yeah, well, here's the argument there. What would you do? I wonder. Do you draft to fill the need, or you draft the most talented guy?
I would draft the most talented guy, and then if I had a surplus, I'd make a deal to get the player I wanted for the other position I needed.
Smart. There you go. So here's the thing about Jordan in The Last Dance, when they were talking about him should have been the second pick, because teams valued the big man back then, right?
Totally Hakeem's.
Right. So Hakeem Olajuwon, number 1, okay, 7-footer.
Karl Malone.
Number 2 was Sam Bowie, who went to Portland. The reason why they didn't take Jordan is because they had Clyde Drexler already.
That's true. What was his nickname again?
The Glide.
The Glide, yeah.
Clyde the Glide.
Clyde the Glide Drexler. Oh, man. Those were the good times. The postman, you had the admiral.
It didn't come across as so subjective, but like 80s, 90s sports, you know what I mean? By the time it hit the early 2000s, everything was like
watered down. That's what
it was a change, right?
Like, there's still talented players that are playing now, but it's not it's not our era. It's not our era of sport. Yeah. It's like boxing. Who do you know from boxing in the early 90s and late 80s, and who do you know now?
I've been enjoying Mike Tyson's Hot Boxing podcast with Mike Tyson. And
you mean Stonefest?
Everybody, exactly. But every guest of his, the reverence that they have, like, it's like, Mike, I remember where I was, what I was doing, how old I was when you were coming up in the mid to late 80s, and you were just crushing guys, and like, it was just devastated the whole division, and you'd never seen an animal like Mike Tyson before, like a 18-year-old man, 18-year-old boy destroyed like these weathered veterans that were older and bigger than him.
And I didn't even know that he talked to Muhammad Ali before he fought Larry Holmes. Like, when he was 16, he talked to Muhammad Ali on the phone, and he told Muhammad Ali, "I'm gonna get him for you." And he's like, "You go get him."
When he got his title back, I think it was it might have been Trevor Berbick.
No, he fought Larry Holmes, when he went and beat up Larry Holmes, who ended. Larry Holmes was the last one, I think. Fought Muhammad
Tyson
Ali.
Fought Larry Holmes?
I think so. Or bring it up if you can.
Was Muhammad Ali in a tuxedo and then standing in the ring?
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Let's find it. But yeah. Oh my God. I love Tyson documentaries, and he's a very smart guy.
Do you like him because he's well spoken, or he's a smart guy?
He surprises you with what he knows.
Yes.
I don't know, well spoken, because he throws in some ghetto in there, and you're like, oh, okay. So he's a blend. He's an interesting blend of that.
Yeah. Because he doesn't give a fuck about anything.
I guess not. Here it is. How Mike Tyson avenged Muhammad Ali, but I'm trying to find the actual fight. Actually, there was this part too, when Muhammad, Sugar Ray Leonard, and Mike Tyson were all on Arsenio Hall.
That's...
Arsenio was like, who's the best? Like, you're crushing guys. And he's like, the mind has to submit and the mouth has to profess. Muhammad Ali's the greatest. And everyone went nuts.
That's awesome.
Oh, it was so good. Chilling. Oh, here.
Yeah, see, so that's my whole point.
This one. This is it. I don't know what they're going to say here. Hold on. Let me try to find it.
But this is my point. Nobody remembers boxers today. Like Floyd Mayweather.
Right. Oh, my God.
Are you shocked that I'm right?
I am. Because I thought it was I thought it was another fight. I don't give you enough credit.
No.
This is when he whispered to him, right? Get him for me. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know it was Holmes that he beat. But, man, if you watch his highlight reel of knockouts.
Oh, it's pretty impressive.
Complete insanity. And I think the last guy that... who's the last fighter that got you excited like this? Not in the same way, but just excited in general. I'd have to say Conor McGregor. It's not even a boxer.
Because he tried to be like explosive. Whereas Mayweather, I don't like. I've never liked the guy, never liked who he was, to be honest. It's not like you didn't have to like Mike Tyson, but he'd say something and go do it. Like, I'll bite your ear off, and he went and did it.
Yeah. There's something about this era of fighter and athlete.
But Evander Holyfield, George Foreman, like, I can remember all these big fighters. But, like, I can't remember anything from now. Like, the boxing's so not what it used to be.
Roy Jones, I vaguely remember him. Like, I know he went on a tear. It was like undefeated tear for a while.
There's De La Hoya, but he was more late 90s.
Right. And then, but when Pacquiao beat him, he went on such a huge decline, De La Hoya.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's how it works.
And he became the fall guy like WWE, the guys that were on tour just to lose.
Yeah, but that's why when they're 15-0 and then they go almost like 17-0, then they lose one. Then once they lose, they have that fear and they don't have. Yeah, so once it's like the UFC. Once a guy he's like 18-0 and then he loses one match, then he might win the next one. Then he might lose two in a row. Like he might never come back for. It's like Ronda Rousey. There's another one. She went 10-0 and then lost one fight and couldn't even muster up a punch to someone on the next one. Like she went downhill quick.
Yeah, she's making some news lately as well, actually, because she's leaving WWE, and she's like, she called them non-loyal fake fans of fake fighting or something.